Hello, in this video we are going to talk about DC to DC boost converter, right? We have already seen operation of DC to DC buck converter, which essentially was used to reduce the voltage, right? So if you have a source of high voltage and your load requires a low voltage DC, then you can use a DC to DC buck converter, right? It would reduce the voltage to a lower value. But then in certain applications, it is required to boost the DC voltage. Right? One such application which you can think of is solar photovoltaic. Right? So the solar photovoltaic panels would generally produce low voltages, right? But then they are supposed to be connected to the grid and feed power to the grid or feed power to the home or offices, right? Which is essentially at a higher AC voltage. So in one of the step, the DC voltage, which is low DC voltage of the panel, is boosted to a higher DC voltage, right? So there is a need to boost the DC voltage, which can boost the low voltage to a high DC voltage. Now, and there are quite a few other applications also where DC to DC boost converter is being used, like a lot of industrial applications and so on. So how do we do that? How do we boost a low DC voltage to a high DC voltage? So I would draw the circuit and then we can discuss how that circuit operates. Again, I'm drawing the circuit using all the ideal components, right? So I have an ideal inductor, there's an ideal switch, S1, there's another ideal switch, S2, and on the output side, I have similar arrangement. There's a cap, and this is your, let's say, represents your load. So you have V in and VO, right? So how does this circuit operate? Same thing, what we have done before. Let's say we assume that switch S1 is on for a duration of dTs, right? So D is the duty cycle of switch S1, and for the remaining period in Ts, S1 is off, right? And when S1 is off, S2 is on. So S1 and S2 are complementary in nature. Again, you can see that in case by accident, if you turn on both S1 and S2, then the output voltage would be short circuited, and because you have a capacitor, large capacitor at the output, that would lead to a lot of current and which would damage the switches and even the capacitor, right? And therefore, S1 and S2 are never turned on together in this particular configuration. Very similar to what was happening in the buck converter. Now, now if you see, let me try to draw voltage across inductor. Let me define the reference polarity. Let's say this is voltage across inductor. This is inductor current reference direction, right? So when S1 is on, in that case, you can see that the equivalent circuit looks something like this. You have input, inductor, and S1 is on, S2 is off. So that's it. So what is happening is that the input voltage is supplying energy to the inductor and the inductor current is rising, right? Obviously, parallelly, there is another circuit which is operating, which is this, right? Which essentially says that the output capacitor is discharging and providing energy to the load resistance RL. right? So both things are happening parallelly. So how does this work? Can we maybe we can write basic equation. So what is the inductor voltage during this period? Inductor voltage is Vn minus 0, voltage across which is 0. Inductor voltage is Vn during this period when S1 is on. When S1 is off or S2 is on, in that case, the equivalent circuit looks something like this. You have Vn, there is an inductor, and there is an output voltage Vo, and yes, there is a resistance here. You want to write what is expression for VL. In this case, you say VL is Vn minus Vo. Right? Now again, we can use the similar to what we did for buck converter. We can use the volt second balance law. So let us apply the volt second balance. What does it say? It essentially says integral of VL dt is equal to 0 going from 0 to Ts, right? So as you see that S1 is on for a duration of dTs and S1 is off for a duration of 1 minus dTs. Therefore, I can write it as V in, which is the voltage across the inductor when switch is on, multiplied by the duration, plus V in minus Vo multiplied by the duration equal to 0, right? Now I can simplify it. I can write it as V in d 1 minus d minus Vo 1 minus d equal to 0, which should give me the output voltage is equal to input voltage upon 1 minus d. This is the steady state relationship between the output and the input voltage in case of a DC to DC boost converter, right? Again, I would, if you remember in buck converter, we listed down certain assumptions. So here also the same assumptions we are following. So one of the assumption is ideal components, right? So all the components that we are using here are ideal. The other assumption is small output voltage ripple, right? So small ripple approximation. And the third is we are operating in continuous conduction mode, right? With these three assumptions, this equation is valid. If you see, one more observation you can make here is that if you look at the circuit from other way around, right? Instead of looking at from here to here, you look at the circuit coming from right side to left side. So how does it look like? You have a source. Let's say this is a source of VO value. Then there are two switches. Then there's an inductor, and then there is an output. What do you see? Looking from right to left, it looks like a buck converter, which we have already studied, right? So it is actually a mirror image of a buck converter, right? So instead of going from left to right, if you go from right to left, it becomes a buck converter, right? But in general, in terminology, we are calling it a boost converter because here power is getting transferred from input to output. But in terms of voltage levels, if you see from right hand side, it would appear as a buck converter, right? So yeah, so it's not drastically different from buck converter, which we have studied. It's very similar. It has a very similar operation, and it also follows the same rules, same set of assumptions, and so on. So we have derived the average voltage expression here. Now we would work on the way we did for buck converter. We would work on the ripple voltage, a ripple component in the output voltage, ripple component in the inductor current, and so on in subsequent videos.